3, 2, 1. We are live. I don't know what happened on the number 2 there, but my voice kind of went out, so I apologize. But welcome.
Welcome. 2/3 of us are here.
2/3 of us are indeed here today.
As always.
MMAngst Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Cohn. If you're wondering why my voice is slightly toned down, I'm just doing a thing. There's no real reason.
He's been drinking.
Not true. Not true. I am not drinking. What I am drinking right now is out of my Super Mario cup.
Oh, damn. You have one of those.
Mm-hmm. Didn't I show
it?
I showed it to you, right?
I think you did. That it fills out. And
the color change mug where it starts out like the Super Mario World at night and like everything is down. And then like it's up and you can see Mario's going for the star.
We are such dorks. So while we barely wait for Bilal, should we discuss the fact that the Rose slam was totally a fluke and that she was totally winning the fight until she wasn't?
Can we not? All right, let's move on from that nonsense, please. But I do want to. We should just quickly mention that Deontay Wilder hits like a goddamn freight train. And murdered Dominic.
It's so funny because he looks so lanky, and you wouldn't expect. I mean, not skinny, but he looks lanky, and you shouldn't expect that frame to hold that much power, but he does.
How much did he weigh in?
So I don't know, but he's light.
I think like the Tyson Fury fight, he weighed in at like 212.
Yeah, like that guy could be a light heavyweight in the UFC.
Would be. No.
He would be a middleweight.
I think he fought at he would have to cut weight. I don't think.
I know, but
why would
210?
He's 6'7". He's not cutting to middleweight.
Yeah, fair point.
He
should put some body mass on though.
No.
Anyways,
he tried that. He didn't like it.
So he is just like skinny and he's like a fucking freight train. Oh my god! It's ridiculous because you can say that you can outbox Deontay Wilder.
Okay.
Right?
He weighed in at 223. He weighed in at 223 and a quarter.
Oh, that's an improvement. He still looks lanky as fuck.
He is 6'7".
But let's just say this: even if you find a better boxer than him, even if you outbox him completely and dominate him, that doesn't mean you have exposed him, but because he has 12 rounds to try, or either 10 or 12 rounds to try this one thing, and it only has to work once. You know what I mean? Like he's weird. Like he's a weird dude in general, and he fights weird.
We stalled for Bilal and he got in.
Yes, he got in, but he's muted because he probably has demons.
No, I'm muted because I need to break my fast like in a minute or so.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, we're discussing Kevin Lee first, but we were going to, but I think we're still gonna. So just deal with it.
You saw. First of all, your reception. Your reception is amazing. Oh my god, sounds amazing. Your reception. First of all, second, it sounds super loud.
No, he's good.
Really? Okay, then we're fine.
I just woke up. My sleeping pattern has been kind of shit ever since the fast started.
Well,
so
that would make sense.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
It makes you feel better. My sleeping pattern has been utter shit since I started selling beef jerky. So
mine have actually been getting
feel my
better.
Pain.
I know exactly.
You feel my pain,
dude. I've been up to like 4 in the morning the entire week last week.
Just making beef. Is that like why Audrey said we should clone you so that you could make beef jerky endlessly for her?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Anyway, let's talk about MMA because I don't think Deontay Wilder is going to fight either Joshua. I don't think Joshua is going to fight him, and I don't think Joshua is going to fight Fury. So then we might just see Wilder Fury again, which fine, but
well, it depends what Anthony Joshua wants to do because he's running his business like a literal business.
I don't think it was Joshua who ended up pulling from the fight. I think it was Wilder.
Yes, but that is because he got offered a different deal that he was more comfortable with. But the point with Anthony Joshua is that it's going to be very difficult to match these two because Joshua runs his business again like a literal business. He fights 2 times a year. He does all the sponsorship things, all the things he needs to do, and then like there's the fights.
I think they all fight 2 times a year or something.
I know, but with Joshua, it's going to be very difficult to put together again because
I don't think I don't know. I don't think
business issues.
Listen, I don't see why any of them would fight each other. It doesn't really make any sense. It's dumb.
Yeah, I mean they can just keep fighting random dudes, and make a lot of money.
Yeah, he could fight his mandatory challenger and forget it. Like Anthony Joshua is the youngest of them, so he's got the most time.
Yeah.
He's 29. And he's only got 20-something fights, 22, 23 fights. I don't remember exactly how many.
Yeah, but we have Usyk in the picture now.
Well, Usyk might take a little time probably to get there, and it depends on who he's going to fight.
Also, he's injured, so.
That too, but I'm saying, like, has he fought, how many times at heavyweight? Once now? I think he had his heavyweight debut, right? No.
Yeah. No, I think none.
He's still killing it at cruiserweight. So
yeah,
I mean,
we're hoping for him basically to come in and start steering shit up.
Yeah, it would be nice, but I think he was supposed to fight. What's his name? Carlos Takam.
Yeah, Takam. It sounds like taco. Yeah. You mentioned it like it sounds like taco. I'm like,
God damn. Apparently, there's been talk of matching Usyk with Joshua, so that might happen.
Whoa. Well, I'm all for it.
I mean, it seems like Joshua is more willing to fight people than the other two.
Really? I think Joshua is willing to do anything that furthers his bank account, just in general. Yeah, I don't think he cares who he's fighting.
But I don't see Wilder trying to call out Usyk or try to make a thing with Usyk.
I don't know if Wilder knows Usyk exists, to be honest. Yeah. Like, until Wilder's mind is like very difficult to understand in general.
Maybe. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to talk about the fight card. It was UFC Fight Night, Dos Anjos versus Lee, a.k.a. Rochester, Fight Night Rochester, a.k.a. UFC on ESPN 10.
Where we saw the golden man appear. But we'll get to that later.
So I talk to my friends occasionally about going to like an upstate New York card and getting like floor seats for cheap. And I didn't realize this was going to be much. I'm an idiot for not realizing this one is Rochester.
Well, you should be happy, man, because you get MMA there.
It's not like it's close. It's like a 5-hour drive or a 6-hour drive. But
it's fucking New York. It's huge.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, it's just like not that far.
Yeah, that shit's far from me.
Oh my god. There's no. The closest card to me after this is going to be DC, which is a 4.5-hour drive with no traffic. And then the next one is New York City, which is in the Garden, which will be expensive as fuck.
Dude, that's like, if I drove like Bilal and not accounting for baboons, I get to Nogales, Sonora, which is close to the border. If I leave right now, that amount of time.
Come on over.
In that amount of time.
Come on over and drive to New York. It'll take you 5 days, but come on.
I'm not in New York. No, that's insane. I'm not gonna
drive to New York.
Drive.
All right, let's talk about the fight. We got Rafael Dos Anjos.
No, I don't even have a license. Okay, we
got Rafael Dos Anjos.
Beat my boy Kevin Lee. I still love you, Kevin.
Beat your boy Kevin Lee in Kevin Lee's welterweight debut.
Yeah,
there's a lot to discuss because
Rafael
Dos Anjos. You don't agree?
No, I do agree. I think, but I agree that there is a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
I think, may I start?
A lot to discuss. I don't mean necessarily from a technical perspective. I mean, although I think there's plenty to discuss there. I'm talking about from a career perspective of Kevin Lee. There's also a lot to discuss there.
Yeah, I think, may I begin first?
Fine.
No, you can keep quiet.
No, I'll let
Bilal begin. Let Bilal begin.
I'm gonna let Alejandro, because apparently Alejandro has an actual fan who wants to hear his voice more, and we want that person to keep listening. So let
We want to keep one of our three fans.
I'm actually gonna mute myself so that you don't hear any background noise. That's how dedicated I am to this.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And so he won't cut you off and start shouting at you for being wrong.
Well, I'll let you do that, Bilal.
No, you're both all wrong all the time.
Right. So sweet.
Alejandro, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you so much. You're so gracious. Now, I think, first of all, that technical issues with Kevin Lee, some of them have been fixed. I did think that he could take a better shot at this weight. I also thought that there's this problem with him where he just cannot adapt his game plan. Like, his game plan was to be the bigger, stronger man, but it didn't quite work out that way. And he kept forcing 6 changes, which kept taking the wind out of him, because every time he tried to clinch with RDA, he would eat at least 1 or 2 knees all the time. Like, watch the exchanges. I mean, I just watched the fight, and he tried to fight at a higher pace while at the same time getting hit to the body a ton in against the cage. Like, he had RDA against the cage, and even those exchanges he could not win. He kept being offset in some matter or another, and he kept just losing these exchanges over and over and over again. And I think what actually taxed him wasn't that he wasn't conditioned for this weight. It's just the actual body work that RDA did, and the fact that he's so wound up, and RDA is, chill out there. Like, he's a professional. He's been doing this for a while, and Kevin Lee is the prospect that has been brought up like pretty much as shark chow, Like, he's been swimming with sharks most of the time, and a lot of the time he does well, a lot of the time he doesn't. But it's kind of one of those issues that you have with MMA, with how prospects are treated. Like, once they start doing mildly well, you throw them into like the deep end of the pool and be like, swim, see how well you do there. And it seems like he has been mismanaged. Also, if I may say something good about him, I thought he put his stand-up together a little more nicely here. And he had a better, like, strategic mind about it. But it all came tumbling down because he's just unable to move away from the game plan that they had in the first place. Going into the 4th round, his corner literally told him, keep doing what you're doing because he's tiring. And RDA clearly was not tiring, and he was getting the better exchange of the exchanges on the feet anyways. So I do perceive that he's growing, but he's not fighting, quote unquote, the right opposition, which is a very boxing thing to say, but Kevin Lee should be fighting people below this level. You know what I'm saying? Like, my takeaway from this whole thing has been that A, Kevin Lee is learning, B, he's not learning at a fast enough rate that allows him to win these big fights that he ended up getting saddled with. And I kind of worry for him to an extent, because this many disappointments in so early in your career. He's just 26 years old, but he's been fighting for a long while in the UFC now. Like, it can derail you. So it kind of worries me a bit. I hope I'm wrong about that. But he seems mature enough. Like, I hope he makes the adjustments he needs and understand that he also needs to adjust mid-fight. Like, RDA didn't really do anything that Kevin Lee did not, like, he did not make use of anything that Kevin Lee did not gift him in this fight. Right?
Right.
Like,
so I happen to disagree with some of the things you said, man.
Fair enough.
Okay, first off, I don't think the tactics used or the game plan that Kevin Lee was using was the issue. I think the issue is very clear that Kevin Lee just doesn't have the skills necessary to implement it properly. He tried to implement a very similar game plan that worked in his fight with Edson Barboza.
Yes.
And a game plan that Usman and Covington used to success against RDA. And we've seen it used against RDA in the past before Clay Guida. If we're going way back, Clay Guida, Gleison Tebow. This is not some pressure and wearing RDA down on the fence in extended wrestling, and Khabib, of course, in extended wrestling exchanges is not something new to RDA's career.
But I don't think we disagree on that.
Okay, that's not my point. My point is that Kevin Lee does not have the skill set necessary to do that. So I don't think it was about adjustment. I think it's just that Kevin Lee was outgunned. There was nothing for him to really adjust to. It's not like he was going to beat RDA in a straight kickboxing match, because he wasn't. He was losing those exchanges by round 2. So,
but he had a choice. Is my point. At some point, you need to decide which is the least evil you are willing to work with, because
getting
that forcing
is definitely worse.
He got punched in the face plenty, anyways.
Right, but from a shorter range, and also when he in a place he felt safer. You can't deny that he didn't feel safer in grappling exchanges, and I understand that.
But he was wasting energy, and he was not going to win the fight that way. That's my point.
You saw he was pushing punches by the end of round 1. Like
round 2. I think
I'm talking about round 1. He was not as fluid with his punches. His kicks always look fluid. His kicks always look good. He's a very good kicker. He's a naturally gifted kicker, I would say. But his punches always looked very forced by the end of round 1. To me, I could rewatch it again and maybe I'll be convinced otherwise. No problem. But to me, at least on the first watch, it looked like he was forcing his punches a little bit, and he's not nearly as fluid as RDA in those exchanges. He just
nowhere near as fluid.
Right.
Nowhere
so
near as fluid.
When you're not as fluid, you're not as good, and he doesn't have like one punch knockout power or anything like that. So it's not like he's just going to knock RDA out. So
but that is the thing. Like
problem with L.A. Quinta though.
I agree, but that is the thing. You take the risk,
but
you have no choice.
But why would he take a risk where he's losing? He's losing worse on the feet by round 3. It's not like he's losing worse in the grappling exchanges. Yes, he's getting outfought in the clinch, and again, I want to get there. I'm going to get there. But now here's my biggest issue. You're saying he's young, he's this, he's that. Yeah, he's young age-wise, but he's also been fighting for 7 years. He's not young in his career. The guy has had plenty of time to adjust his game. He's fighting out of Extreme Couture, so which you guys are telling me he's churning out some decent fighters these days.
Yep.
His coach, his cornering was not good. So
no, it was not
being coached well. He's just not. I'm sorry. I don't.
Well, I mean, his main coach kind of committed suicide, I think, a year or 2 ago.
Right. What's his name though?
Follis. Yeah.
Robert Follis.
Oh, Robert. Why did I get that name?
I no. First of all, rest in peace. I remember that, and if I remember correctly, nobody had anything but good things to say about Robert as well. So,
he was his main BJJ coach, and you can see once Kevin is on the ground, he's impossible to deal with. But there's a ton of.
I mean, he was definitely not impossible to deal with.
No, RDA dealt with him very well.
RDA dealt with him very well, but he was still out scrambling RDA once they hit the ground, and RDA really had to grit through it.
Right, but RDA.
But overall, I don't disagree with you, Ben. Overall, I don't disagree with you. I just want to say that.
I appreciate you bringing that up. Again, rest in peace, Robert. I do want to point out the specific main issue I have. So he's 7 years into his career. We've already seen the flaws in Kevin Lee's game, and he came out here. For some reason, here's the thing that I notice for people who move up. It's not the issue. The issues in their game don't change. It's how it's if their style makes sense to move up for. Kevin Lee is a very heavily reliant on his athleticism and his power because he has so many holes in his game that he never filled. His clinch game, he hit 2 really nice knees. He got straight into the tie plum, threw the knee to the head, landed them. That's it. Everything else in the clinch was just RDA 100% fucking him up with knees and elbows and punches and just out striking him at every turn and going tit for tat with him in those clinch exchanges as well.
Yes.
He out wrestled him at points.
Hold on. Okay, good point.
The the best example of how Kevin Lee used the tools at his disposal was in that first round when he shot a counter. He countered with a wrestling shot in the middle of the cage and got RDA down. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The game plan to beat RDA that was executed by pushing him up against the fence was against guys who had much better tool sets to implement those styles. Okay, as much shit as you might give Colby, the guy knows what he's doing in clinch exchanges.
I don't really think much about Colby.
It's fair, but if you actually look at what he was doing,
no, he's. I just think about him in terms of his fighting style, and he has a hell of a lot of cardio, and he's very good in scrambling.
Right. And Usman also was just freakishly outgunning him in terms of power. Kevin Lee might have had a power and strength advantage, but he also did not know how to implement it because it wasn't enough because he did not have the necessary skill.
Yes, but that brings us to my next point. Like,
1 second,
you have these fighters that are slow learners.
I don't think Kevin Lee's a slow learner. I don't think that's the case. I think he's being told the wrong things. That's all.
Probably.
Yeah, I agree with Benya because last week I made the same point that he's kind of been insulated by all his physical gifts a lot. Okay, granted, he has a really good reactive shot, which he used against RDA, and even against Tony Ferguson. But
that's the crazy.
Yeah. Wait. I'm getting there. Yeah. So he doesn't use it nearly enough as he should. But when he ties up in wrestling exchanges, there's a lot of you get like a Chakra vibe from him where he'll clinch up, but the actual exchanges don't go that deep. It's mostly him just out horsepowering the other guy to the fence and then dropping low and maybe just, using a lot of strength to lift them rather than okay, if we're going to make a comparison between him and Khabib, since both of them, Khabib is still a lightweight, but both of them were in the same division and fought RDA.
Kevin Lee has made the comparison himself, so it is fair.
Yeah. Okay. So Khabib has that same horsepower because we've seen him do it to guys like Healy, RDA, and Michael Johnson a few times. But at the same time, he doesn't just out horsepower guys all the time. When he wants to,
them.
No, not even about control. When he clinches up with guys, there he goes for a ton of sneaky shit.
Yeah,
so you saw in this fight when RDA shot on Lee kind of he went through, kind of the standard way of trying to defend it, and quite a few times got taken down. Like, you don't see that shit like Khabib did where he isolated RDA's one arm, and then I'm not sure what you call it, but he kind of did a judo throw to him against the fence while squared up. It's like you don't see those small little extra nuances to Lee's wrestling game. You see it when he's scrambling, yeah. You see it when he's scrambling. Yeah, you see it when he's scrambling or trying to take the back or mount, but you don't see it in actual wrestling exchanges.
No, I think what he needs, I don't think, like, going back to the coaching situation, like we have mentioned before, that there's people that are unwilling to move from where they are. So you just have to judge them based on that to some extent. He should change training camp because clearly repeating the same thing over and over again is not working for him. But there has been some growth that I don't think that he didn't learn a single thing from the last camp to this camp. Like, you could see him better prepared even in the stand-up, but it just wasn't enough. Like, Kevin Lee shouldn't be fighting these people.
But was
he mostly improved technically in the stand-up, but he still doesn't have that same craft and fluidity on the feet.
Hold on. No, what did Kevin Lee throw other than a 1-2 and the kicks?
Okay, let me phrase it this way, right? I'm not saying he was great on the feet, but let me phrase it this way.
I'm making.
Compare this to his fight with Al or Barboza or Ferguson when he
the tools he used on the feet.
No.
Yeah,
no, it's the same tools, but he used them at a little better. When he was doing well, he was using them a little better.
But I think that
that's what I'm saying.
But I'm disagreeing. Where I'm not disagreeing. Where I'm saying is that it was all horsepower. If you remember correctly, he tried.
Well, perhaps it was. Perhaps it was because he has a lot of bad habits because of the athletic wounds that he was born with.
Listen, are you gonna listen? I don't think anyone's gonna make the case that Kevin Lee was craftily setting up how to land his 1-2. Like when I think of like crafty 1-2, I'm thinking of Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler, right? Those were really crafty setups for him to land the jab straight, right, and stuff like that. And those were well set up. It wasn't just that he was throwing them really hard and really fast. Kevin Lee came out throwing them really hard and really fast against RDA, and they were landing because RDA is 30-something years old, and it's been older since 1984 or whatever. I don't know. Fighting for the Industrial Revolution for some of you. Like it's crazy.
For some of you that are not familiar, back when steam engines were a thing.
Yes. They had just created the cotton gin or something. I don't know. Like it's crazy. Like,
that's Peter Yan, dude. That's Peter Yan. He's a mortal man.
Yan is 25, but he's been around since the dawn of time.
He's the first man. He's the first man. You remember
when Vitor was a young dinosaur?
A young lion.
I'm not as high on Kevin Lee as others are because
no, that's fair because he hasn't been able to.
He's 7 years old. He's not a prospect anymore.
No, he's not. But developmentally, he is. Remove the prospect.
But he's not going to get prospect fights. He's not.
What he should do is leave the UFC.
No.
Time off and leave the UFC.
I don't think he needs to leave the UFC. He needs.
Yeah, I think he probably does.
His management to bring him back when he's ready to come back. He needs to actually. This is the biggest problem I have with MMA management. They have no fucking clue how to match up their fighters. Why the fuck?
Yes.
Like it's just silly.
But that's not how it works, man. Management it's only there up to a point because most of those decisions are made in the gym.
But here's the thing: the UFC wanted to push Kevin Lee. If you are a fighter and you see that the UFC is trying to push you, management needs to work with the UFC and say, "Listen, we want to make sure that we make him the biggest star."
That is true, but you have to factor in the fact that the UFC has taken measures, specific direct measures, even going as far as speaking to fighters privately. In order to ditch their own managers, in order to work less with managers.
Tell Kevin Lee to go to the UFC. Talk to Kevin Lee and say, Kevin, call Dana. I don't know. But get the management needs to understand how to deal with it and try to guide their fighters.
Yes, he's a mismanaged fighter. We agree on that.
So I think he needs real time off, and it's not like he doesn't have time for it. He's really young. He's 26.
No, I agree. That I actually was going to mention that he needs time off. In my opinion, it would do him good to leave the UFC and reinvent himself outside of the UFC because that style he has, like this very heavily reliant style on pure athleticism, but not a lot of nuance. Once he connects with you, that is going to carry him very far.
I don't think he's leave the UFC. I think that's a little much.
But where are you going to bring him back at the bottom of a card?
First of all, I think you don't need to bring him back at the bottom of the card, but you can match him up smarter. Why do you have to match him up against RDA, the number 3 ranked welterweight?
For no reason. I see no reason other than that.
When he comes back, match him up against someone like, I don't know, if you're gonna do. Well, it depends on if it's a welterweight or lightweight.
It has to be welterweight because he's still growing up. Like his body's filling up.
I think he should fill in and move to welterweight, so at least he's not killing himself to make lightweight anymore. Have him come back against someone who's at least gonna, I don't know, Neil Magny. No offense.
None. How dare you?
If you're gonna do unranked, there's plenty of high level unranked guys who can give him who are decent matchups.
A test, yes. But I don't know. I think that the route that Israel Adesanya followed in order to get to the UFC.
But that's middleweight. That's middleweight, man.
I understand. But my point is that there's more people out there that he could try apply his trade against at welterweight outside of the UFC.
But he could do that in the UFC. There's plenty of guys that he could fight that are
Well, yeah, but I mean, also the paychecks are better in the UFC. Let's be honest.
Yeah. My son is now joining us, which
Hi, Daniel.
is not supposed to be.
Yeah, let him. Maybe he has opinions.
He does.
Give him win.
I'm saying, like, why can't you listen? Why can't you match him up against someone like Curtis Millender? Tell me why.
Daniel is against it. Look, I like Kevin Lee. I want to protect Kevin Lee. I think he should be UFC beating bums for a while.
Okay, I just want to jump in quickly. Daniel was agreeing with Ben.
Yeah, he's agreeing.
Like that was a happy shout.
Yeah, like I'm saying, there are guys who are like legit fighters who are lower down the totem pole, but give him time to work on his game. You know, like.
Yeah. Also, I think he needs to get on with like a physiotherapist or something and figure out his cardio issues. Like,
I don't think his cardio issues are actual cardio issues. I think it's because he just throws 100% horsepower in at all times.
Yeah, like no, I know, but there are. I know. Let me finish. Yeah. Like, get with some actual people that are dedicated to this thing and get it through your head what you can and you cannot do, at what pace and what like at what pace, like at what frequency, like get some idea of what you're doing, like, because just doing a bunch of plyometrics without measuring anything is not going to help you.
No, but the problem I have with him leaving the UFC is that he's insulated.
Hold on. I gotta play. Hold on a second.
No, I understand.
I'm going to play a clip of Kevin Lee talking. You guys might want to hear this.
I think I hear you. I know what it is.
Everything that wasn't good for me. I swear I felt like something, everything was falling into place. It was talking to me even before I walked out there. Still wasn't enough, you know. This shit sometimes would be like, high is highs and low is lows. It should really make you question what you believe in. But no, you know, I've been through a lot of shit in my life. This really ain't gonna be shit.
I don't know if you guys could hear that.
I could hear that.
It was
too
low?
Yes, too low, but
it really makes you question what you believe in.
Yeah, but then said it's no shit. So it's kind of
no shit, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like double negation, which grammatically makes no sense, but you know, people use it all the time.
But like listen, if he'll never hear me, so it's irrelevant. But he needs to change camps, and I know it's probably hard considering the situation, but
or at least they need to bring in new people for him to learn from. Like, that's what I always say. If you're not going to change camps, you need to bring in new people and diversify and look for shit, because I think he lives in Las Vegas, right? It's not like there's no.
Yeah, he's a Vegas guy.
Yeah, he's not like there's not a dearth of places where he can go.
Talk about him for like a half hour. I love Kevin Lee.
So do I.
I love RDA. I like Kevin Lee's. I want Kevin Lee to succeed.
So do I. But he needs a break.
I'm not a fan of him in terms of like how he's handled things, but I do like him.
No, I know that a lot of may I just say last one thing about that? Like, it's what he needs. Like,
yes.
Kevin Lee is more like, he's a more subtle person that people give him credit for. Like the emotional side of it, like he's more subtle that people give him credit for. He's not some cocky asshole. So what he says, the things that he needs to hear, because that's how fighters psych themselves up, and people have their own like coping mechanisms or whatever it is in order to put themselves at a place where they feel confident. Right? So
absolutely.
So that's to be considered. That's all I'm saying. Like,
also, RDA for basically calling his win with a submission.
Yeah, it's been years since he won his submission, and he pretty much called
Longer
it.
since he won
No,
by but
he submitted Neil Magny like 2 years ago. So
yeah, I know. I don't know why everyone's
So,
like it's this first
so
submission
it,
in years, and I'm like, dude, he submitted.
it's been years, 2 years ago.
and it was by arm triangle also.
Yeah.
Like I saw him get the position, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
this is over.
it's
Yeah.
Neil Magny, so I don't count it. It's Neil Magny, so I don't count
Hold
it.
on 1 second. Like it doesn't make any sense. He hasn't had a KO or TKO win since TKOing Donald Cerrone. But
I know, it's just weird. Like people mention this stats, like he's got he'll not won by submission in years, which is true.
which
But
I guess it's only true in like the vaguest, in the most strict sense of the word. Like, yeah, I guess 2 years is technically years, but like,
yeah,
like it's that long.
Dude, it's 2 years. It's
And
2 years.
but he's lost 2 of his 3 fights since then, so it's not
Yeah, but dude, your kid did not exist 2 years ago.
like he's gotten. I don't know. He got 2
Like,
wins out of 3 wins in that time frame. So,
no, yes, yes, but my point is that it's fair to say he hasn't won by submission in years. Like it's not like 7 years, 10 years. Like that's like a fighter's career.
I know. All right. Anyway, Carlos Jr. lost to Ian Heinisch, and
Sadness.
basically Dan Kelly did again. I guess
What?
he didn't get finished, which is an improvement.
Who is that, Kelly?
Do you remember how Dan Kelly beat him?
No.
Remember that?
Oh, why
old-
the fuck?
Wait,
Why
you
the
know
fuck
that?
don't you know who Dan Kelly is? Why the fuck don't you know who Dan Kelly is?
You know that? You know that?
old judo dude who has knees that are.
Okay. Yes, I remember now. God
So,
damn.
Yeah,
What happened was he basically just dominated Dan Kelly the first round, like gassed out, and then gassed, and then got beat up the
Same
second.
thing happened again this time.
And this
Like-
time he didn't gas, but he kind of slowed down significantly and got flustered by Ian Heinisch refusing
Which
to.
means he gassed.
Yeah, so it's a problem. We
Okay,
have,
so I have a question for you, Ben.
sure.
You're a grappling guy here.
As a matter of fact, I am.
No, yes, no, but it's important. It's an important question for a grappling guy because he controlled that first round so well, but he didn't look to do damage. Like he was looking and jockeying for position in order to put submissions together.
Yep.
But he never looked for actual punching in the face or anywhere.
Yep.
Why? What would that be like? What's that mentality like?
So that I think is very fight specific for him because Carlos Jr. is not Damian Maia.
Who is Damian Maia really?
Well, a lot of people.
Only Damian Maia.
No, a lot of people are on that level in terms of jiu-jitsu ability.
But
So Carlos Jr. is a legit, world champion in jiu-jitsu. But his MMA jiu-jitsu is not at the same level as the way Maia's done it.
But why is he punching more?
I should also mention that Carlos Jr. is a world champion from brown belt. He never won worlds at black belt or anything like that. So there's a difference. There is a difference.
But again, why is he punching?
Because Heinisch was not giving him the opportunity to do so. It's really that simple as that. He never let him really feel comfortable in a position to land punches. And it's the same reason why Ferreira couldn't really do damage when he had him up down. Heinisch didn't let the position settle enough to give him the damage. The problem is that Carlos Jr. is not as gifted in terms of his ground and pound as someone like Khabib. So while he has very good control, his control is also based on him not letting go of you. While Khabib is completely comfortable allowing you to move so that he can land the strikes and then going back to the control when you start defending the strike. Carlos Jr. doesn't have that transitional ability, at least up to this point. He relies on the acceptance of the position. And that's the biggest issue you have with a lot of wrestlers and a lot of jiu-jitsu guys is that they don't learn how to work on the ground without the position being accepted. So if I take you down and you accept it, then I can work my ground and pound because you're now defending everything from a ground fighting position, as opposed to you're taking me down, you want to punch me, I'm not defending the strikes necessarily, I'm getting up. So you have two choices, keep punching me and letting me get up and then working again to get me down, or control me. So when you just strictly control, you're not really doing damage. And the problem is that Carlos Jr. is a massive man. The fact that he makes middleweight is crazy. The dude used to fight at heavyweight, if I'm not mistaken. So
yes,
fucking huge. And he does not have his gas tank clearly is better now, and he doesn't panic as much. But the problem is that he's still not going to be able to keep that going for 3 rounds. Clearly, he's not at that stage yet. So what he needs to do is stop working on control, because his jiu-jitsu is already phenomenal. But he needs to work on those transitional points. Go work. Dominic Cruz would be another great guy to work with. Or, I guess work with Khabib, but I don't know if he's going to fly to the Caucasus or go to AKA. He doesn't. Right. Like, I think he trains at American Top Team. He does. Oh, wow. He trains at American Top Team. Actually trains at American Top Team. He's not a hoofed guy.
Don't worry. The staple of American Top Team did very well to it. Right. The guy that is not American Top Team.
Right. So that's the issue. And that's what I see when I'm watching him on the ground, is that I love watching smooth jiu-jitsu. It's so nice for me. But the problem is that it's not enough. It's not going to be enough, because he's fighting guys who are going to, like, Heinisch is just was a perfect fight for him to see where he's at. And he's very clearly not ready for that next step. So, first of all, credit to Ian Heinisch. He beat Ferreira and Carlos Jr., survived on the ground with both, and beat both of them. So give that man give him top 10. At this point, like, Carlos Jr., I think, was ranked 15. Give him someone 10 to 15. Like, give him a chance.
Give him a Uriah Hall.
I don't know how that would go, because Heinisch, I don't know. Maybe
you'd probably round him up.
Maybe.
I
could see it. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Yeah, don't give him another grappler. Sorry, Carlos Jr. was ranked number 12. So never mind.
He said he wants to fight another wrestler for some reason. He made a call out.
Well, he wants a wrestler?
Yeah, he wants to fight another wrestler for some reason.
Yes,
he said Brunson and someone else. I don't remember.
I would like to see him fight Brunson. Yes, that's a good call. Let's see him fight Brunson. Although I don't think Brunson's going to want to, because he just got his win over Bro, so I don't know if he'd want to. Also, exactly the type of person to get Brunson to make a mistake, because he just doesn't stop forcing them. He's really wearing on your game mentally, which is really impressive for a fighter.
He's very active. Very active.
And he refuses to accept a position. That's something that wears on you mentally. And against someone like Brunson, who we've seen kind of fall apart mentally, that will really be interesting to see. And it'll be against a big power puncher. I
don't think you get much say in the UFC who you fight or who you don't, so we may just see that.
We do see that I would say there's probably a slight increase in the bookings for when you do call out specific fighters.
Yes, but
UFC's job.
But it's funny that fighters already know that they can sort of book themselves into fights and still keep saying, no, I will fight anyone, and it's like, God damn it. Just say your name.
Any comments or no?
What?
And any comments from Bilal on this fight or no?
Nah, you kind of put my thoughts on it already.
I actually just wanted to hear your take on it.
Can I shit on
Shoeface is really beautiful when he has the body lock and he has like a set position that he can control from. But if you break that body lock or make it more scrambly, it falls apart.
Yep.
That's my main thought.
Can I shit on Megan Anderson's ground game now?
Can I just say that I love Alicia Spencer? Go ahead.
Megan Anderson's ground game is shit, and people need to stop talking about her like she's the next big thing, because her ground game is utter shit. Like, realistically. Also,
it's not great. We should be nicer to people, but it's not great.
No, I'm not shitting on her. I actually really.
I know, but
good.
If we're ever going to have a fighter here, like if at some point
I her, I really like her.
I know, but when you say it's shit, like
the chances of us having Megan Anderson on here are slim. I'm not shitting on Megan Anderson. She's only been training for I think like 4 or 5 years, right?
I know, like in this fight.
Oh, I'm wrong. 6 years. Never mind. No, if your ground game is that bad after 6 years, no.
No, but it depends on when you start in your career, like when in your life.
I don't know about her loss, her first loss where she lost a decision, but she lost to Cindy Dandois, the worst striker in MMA history,
which is amazing.
And she lost to Holly Holm via wrestling, and Felicia Spencer now by a rear naked choke. You're like, come on, stop it.
No, I mean the development fighters. It matters.
Oh my God, she's a purple belt.
Who?
She is a purple belt.
Who is a purple belt?
Megan.
Under whom?
I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Spencer is a black belt, so credit to her. But like,
no, like this fight on paper made no fucking sense.
She's a jiu-jitsu person, but it's such a dumb fucking like.
She's also Taekwondo black belt. Like, so it's weird if you think about this. Like,
look. Megan really needs to work on her grappling. That's all I can say.
He's fucking backtrack. No, but it's fair.
She made a lot of mistakes. She didn't defend the actual arm coming under her neck at all. I watched it. I'm like, she's just not even defending it. She just wants out. Like I very rarely will say, oh, that fighter just wants out of there. She didn't even bother defending it, and she just nothing. And this was different than like people were like, oh, Conor wanted out in the first Diaz fight. Like, no, he didn't. He was defending everything, just outfoxing him at every single turn. When Conor tried to turn, he got punched in the face, and he turned back, and then the hand was waiting for him. Well, he tried to defend it, but once it was locked in, it was locked in. He tapped, like, whatever, fine. He was rocked and hurt and was completely outgunned. This was like, Felicia's like sliding the arm under. I'm like, oh, she's just not even going to defend that, is she? Oh, okay, fine. I guess not.
She punked her. She basically punked her. Like, people looked at this fight, but I was amazed. Like, people looking at this fight and were like, Felicia Spencer is going to get her ass kicked. And do you remember that last time when we briefly broke out this fight, I said that Felicia Spencer is fun, and she has decent grappling, and she has decent striking. And
don't get me wrong, Felicia did everything. I mean, she's a black belt.
Yeah, on paper,
give her
this fight was nowhere close. Like, Anderson is a late starter in her MMA career. Like, 7 years is not enough when you start at, like, I don't know, 20, 21, 22, 23, whoever she is.
Yeah, featherweight, so I think it kind of is.
Yeah, also that counts. So Megan Anderson looks the part, and Felicia Spencer does not. But when you put them together, and they have to fight, like, very quickly you can see that Anderson can put combinations together, more or less, because she never has time to do anything in the UFC. And then Felicia Spencer just fucking outfoxed her. Like, that takedown she did, like, it was wacky. Like, so, oh yeah, I'm gonna reverse you now. Bloop, 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 bloop. Then she was on her back, and it was Foxville from there on.
I agree. Okay, so let's move on, because I mean, there's really not that much more to talk about with this. Vicente murdered Derek Kranz after Derek Kranz came out at 110% trying to just take out Luque quick, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was like, it's strange. Like, it was one of those performances that sound like Daddy look at me.
Yeah, it was good. Credit to
but it was good. But it was good. Like, what else he wasn't supposed to do? This was like a 10-day notice, short notice fight or something.
No, he did exactly what he needed to do.
And he got him in early trouble, more or less, and then Vicente Luque showed why he's Vicente Luque and proceeded to just blast him.
Can we match him for someone who's not going to pop, hopefully? Right now, he's ranked number 15. He was matched with the number 13 Magny.
You should proceed him.
I want to see him fight Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler's looking for an opponent.
Yeah.
Do it.
Vicente Luque.
But they train at the same camp.
Oh, fuck.
But I don't know if Lawler gives a shit.
Also, Darren just asked for that fight. I don't know why he thinks that's like.
ATT is correct. I think they've had fighters from the camp fight each other.
He's not from ATT, goddammit. Lawler left ATT also.
No, but Lawler is with Hooft now.
Oh, no. Wait a second. Lawler went to Hoofed? When?
Yeah.
Yes, like long ago.
I did not know that. I honestly didn't know that.
Yeah.
Stop seeing a fighter throw punches and be like, okay, that fighter is an ATT fighter.
I just love that Vicente Luque is the most ATT fighter ever, and I will always repeat this till the day I die.
It's true. He is. But I do want to see him fight Lawler. So hopefully they do fight. Next is, by the way, Bilal, did you have any comments on Megan or no?
No, I have no comments on that fight
No,
other than the Phenom spelled Feenom.
I just love like
very nice to watch.
You hear her interview after the fight is like, what do you want now? And she's like, I don't know. There's not a lot to do here. It's like kind of like saying the further one decision is fine.
She couldn't say Nunez, so what's she gonna say?
No, well, I mean she has to say Nunez, but she's like Nunez is not gonna fight her because she has to fight Holly Holm for the 135-pound belt. So what is she gonna do? So she's like, I don't know. I'm on an island. What do I do here? Like you tell me, and that was so funny. Very Canadian of her, very polite.
It's very funny. All right, next is Charles Oliveira murdering Nick Lentz, which just was fun.
It was just beautiful. It was wonky performance because
he called out Dana White for not letting him drop down to 145.
He did?
No, but but see, you believe me?
I'm just looking forward for it. Like whenever he doesn't do it, a little part of me dies inside. Whenever he wins and he's like, I'm fine where I'm at now. I'm like, fuck that.
I think he gave up.
Yeah, last night was a sad time for me when he did the post-fight interview and he made no mention of featherweight at all.
Well, I would like to see him.
I was like end of the era, like when Machida got finished by Jones, and you're like, oh, the Dragon era is over right now.
Want to see
we just saw the end of the Chucky Olives era.
Can we watch the Olives fight Gregor Gillespie, please? Please? For the love of all that is holy, that is the fucking fight to make.
Ooh, grappling. Lots of
Although I kind of want both of them to be fast tracked a bit more in the top 10, but I wouldn't mind seeing that at all.
Big fast tracked anywhere. And I don't want to see him. The other option is maybe Islam Makhachev, but that's like not really much of a bump for him.
Well, neither of them are, because lightweight has like the same problem as welterweight, where there's kind of this contenders no man's land just outside the top 10, because the top 10 guys don't want to fight anyone down, so they all just fight each other until someone needs a late notice replacement.
I'm good with the Gillespie fight. I'm good with that one. That seems fun to me.
Good for both of them. All right. But yeah, Charles Vera looked great offensively against Nick Lentz, and he had no respect for Nick Lentz, so he really didn't do
which
much.
Is good.
He had zero respect for Nick Lentz on defense. Like he just ate he didn't really work too hard.
Oliveira's defense didn't look too great either, but his range handling is much better now.
Nick Lentz doesn't have good defense either, but like Oliveira didn't clean shots either. He had a couple like.
No, I know, but you can see the issues.
Yeah. If he does,
but either way, he punched Nick Lentz, and I will be forever thankful. Also, this fight is like the most pointless fight ever, because the first time he kicked his ass, literally. The second time he kicked his ass, and this time he kicked him illegally. Though I don't think it was illegal. I think that the referee misread that one. And then he kicked his ass again. So it's like he literally owns like Nick Lentz's.
I will say this:
soul in a jar.
No matter what, when they fight, holy shit, is it fun? So
I love it. Like, but again, like he has Nick Lentz's soul in a jar right now, and he takes it with him everywhere. And he barters it for things, and then he gets it back and shit.
I mean, he could. I think it's time for Nick Lentz to stop asking for this fight.
No, I want to see it again.
All right. Davi Ramos defeated Austin Hubbard. Ramos really good. He should stop calling out Khabib.
I don't know why he
just keeps doing it, but
no, stop.
But he's definitely clearly working on a stand-up. It looked good. He has that problem where he admires his own work after he lands his shots. So that's where he landed a lot of his return fire.
That's a funny way of putting it, but yes.
And Hubbard also is kind of in that weird, awkward stage for team elevation guys where they're like, they kind of like
stance switch every 5 seconds.
Right, but also like,
see, I told you.
But that's what
it's like I'm gonna be TJ Dillashaw, stands 2 meters out and stance switches right in front of you without disguising it at all.
You can't tell me he doesn't look like early career TJ Dillashaw.
No, he does. But the issue that I see there is that he does it because he's I don't think that he's entirely there.
He's still in the awkward stage. This happens
with
the EFT guys.
Yeah, I know, but in general with fighters give away time steps. Like we had this conversation before. Imagine time going as a continuum, right? And then slice it in little pieces. And then one of those is a time step. And what people do in these developmental stages, which is also what Megan did, is that you just give away those time steps. Either you do nothing, you admire your own work, or you freak out, or you start doing crazy shit like stand switching for no reason. He literally stood in place and stand switched for like 3 consecutive times. Why? What was the strategic reason for that? Well, I don't know. Like he's in there, but he's probably freaking out a little bit.
I'm 100% with you on the issues with them. I'm just explaining what's going on. I don't think it's pointless. I think it's just that he's not at the level yet where it's pointless.
No, he's an development fighter.
Uriah Faber pointless stand switching where he's just going to keep doing it for the rest of his career. I think it's
no. Well, Uriah Faber was like stand switching for no reason and then overhand.
Right. This is
and then running into you.
Still in the stand switching, I'm learning how to use it like TJ Dillashaw shifting.
Yeah, but when he freaks out, he like people have tics. Like fighters have tics, and when they start freaking out, you start seeing them. It's like when they mentioned.
I do want to say that I think that at one point he was stand switching a lot because he hurt his foot off a kick.
Probably that's true. Do
you remember him? I think he threw a front kick, and it like you saw like his foot like he kind of flinched afterwards.
I hope. Well, let's wait to see the medical suspensions there.
All right, but yeah, W Ramos definitely still has work to do.
Yeah.
But he's on a 4-fight win streak at lightweight, so I'd like to see him going. He is not young. He's 32. He's young in his career. He's not even young in his career. He has first fight.
I haven't fight Cerrone. Why not?
No.
Ala Yaquinta?
Too high up. What the hell? He's not ranked.
Who gives a shit?
Me?
No, but Albites fights every once in a while anyways.
Fine. Put him up against James Vick and let's laugh.
You made me laugh.
5'6", so it'd be really goddamn funny.
Oh, hope David Ramos wins.
All right. That's the end of the main card. We're going to quickly mention a couple things on the undercard. Aspen Ladd, great fight with Sijara Eubanks. Beat her again.
Yes.
Desmond Green had a great fight with Charles Jourdain. The scores are 30-27, 2 scorecards, but like
I didn't watch that fight.
Michel Pereira, I think that's how you pronounce it, defeated Danny
the Golden Man
by a flying knee and a punch, which just sent Roberts flying. That was awesome.
I fucking love that guy. Like, it's really funny because he's that dude from from YouTube, from Twitter videos and YouTube videos and GIFs.
I totally on him being him. If I remembered that, I would have picked him. Because
look, like that shit's not gonna work for long, but fucking just keep doing it because it's fun. Like I just call him the Golden Man. Like I want him to keep doing this.
9 or something.
What
was his record? 22-9.
Yeah, it's like he's been around and he's just 25 years old, but he's been taking like he's had actual experience outside of the UFC, which I think is important for a guy if you're going to start there.
He's
like don't start at 21.
Christ. And how does this dude make 70? He's so big.
I know, who gives a shit? He's just bouncing off the cage whenever he wants. Also, he's gonna get fucking tired one of these days and he's gonna look either awesome or very, very sad.
Yes. So I'm down for all of him.
You know what surprised me most? That people on Twitter were saying like, "We have welterweight Johnny Walker," and I'm like, "Are you guys sure?"
He might be. We don't know.
No, he's not. Like, no, he's not. He doesn't have like the crazy length.
He's huge. He's 6'2". What are you talking about?
I'm not sure. Like, he doesn't look Johnny Walkerish to me.
He's thicker. That's why.
Maybe because he's not dancing. We'll have to see. Anyways, we love him. We think it's fun. He's the golden man.
I don't know what his.
Right, he did dance at the start. He like broke out into a breakdance.
Yeah, he breakdanced.
All right, his reach is not crazy. It's like 73 inches.
So he's not Johnny Walker.
But
see,
he fights like Johnny Walker.
No, fuck no. They fight different. Like, insane doesn't mean like there. One like insane. There are different kinds of insanity. This guy doesn't fight like Johnny Walker. They fight very different, actually, in my mind. But we have to see yet because they keep doing crazy things, so we don't know. But let's wait and see. Like, I keep having this. Like, I fear that he's going to run into someone technical like Vicente Luque, and he's going to be like, "Why is my magic not working on this man?" And then shit is gonna go down bad for him.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Grant Dawson beat my guy Michael Trezano.
Sadness.
Damn. I'm not going to talk about that one because.
No, because fuck that.
Yeah, no, it was great grappling. So I mean, it's great, but still, like, I want Trezano to move ahead because he beat Pena, but there's still work to do for Michael as well. Ed Herman versus Patrick Cummins was fucking.
I missed that fight. Did it look in slow motion?
It was pretty good, surprisingly. They just basically hit each other with everything they threw. So,
but was it in slow motion?
It was, yeah, pretty much.
Oh, great.
Zach Cummins defeats Trevin Giles by submission in the third round.
Yeah.
Cummins moving to middleweight worked out so far. Weird stuff.
Good for him.
And then Julio Arce. That fucking head kick, though.
I didn't see it. Fuck.
You go fucking watch that fight. First of all, fun fight. But holy shit, was that a gorgeous head kick. Throw the left hand and came up with the head kick behind it. And he just fucking floored Arosa. What a fight. What a goddamn performance, man.
Damn.
Jesus Christ, it was so good. Wow. I genuinely, I'm going to probably rewatch that fight because of how fun it was. Real quick, we're going to run down the next fight card. It's UFC Fight Night Gustafsson Smith.
Should we just say first? Should we mention first that Sage Norgut got knocked the fuck out?
I'm really upset by that, honestly.
Yeah, no, but it should be mentioned. Like, what the fuck is Timo Famel thinking here?
Steve Northcutt was matched up with an incredibly experienced
kickboxer
in Cosmo Alexandre and was knocked out in the first 30 seconds. And it was brutal. And he had 8 fractures in his face and a 9-hour surgery.
Yes, and that is like career-altering injury. So
it really was upsetting.
Yeah, it's like Koscheck level bad.
Yeah. So let's move on from that. It just really bothers me that they matched him up.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith, what are your thoughts?
Who is it? Oh yeah, Gustafsson versus Smith. I have no idea because with Gus these days, like he has these an even worse schedule than a successful professional boxer that fights 2 times a year. Like Gustafsson fights whenever he can, which is like 1 time a year if he has luck. So I don't know. Like it's a fast turnaround for him. So ideally you should choose him. But Anthony Smith is very persistent, and I don't know what Gus is all about anymore.
It depends on whether Smith can just eat the shots until Gus gets tired, honestly.
Yeah, like it's one of those.
I don't think he will. I think
I never ran fight.
Smith go down.
Well, we always think that, and then he doesn't.
Right. I don't know. I don't have. Man.
I don't have like an opinion of this, but it is like such a random fight.
Smith is like weird because like he does well. How do I explain this? like against Oezdimir, he dealt with the pressure of Oezdimir, right? And then against Hua, he dealt with the he knocked out in a minute and a half, and Rashad Evans, he knocked out in 50 seconds. So there's not much to really go on there. But he's outlast his opponents who pressure and hurt him and all that stuff. But
will Gus get tired with the thing?
Right? So,
but so is Gus.
The last outfighter we've seen Smith fight was Jones, but
it didn't look good for him there. But Gus is not Jones.
Exactly. But he has better offensive boxing. So
when he gets to it,
power. I'm gonna pick Gus because I'm gonna pick Gus.
Okay, let's just hedge our bets, and I'm gonna pick Smith by ridiculous.
Oezdimir versus Latifi.
Ooh.
Yes, this is the fight I was waiting for.
Such a weird fight. Such a light heavyweight fight.
I am so excited.
I'm picking the horse, man. Go.
Great gas tank, but
Latifi, go. Latifi.
I'm gonna.
I have no idea what to pick, and I'm proud of it, just because this is this is what light heavyweight was supposed to be.
I think Latifi will take it.
Are we sure though? Like, I mean, I'm picking Latifi because I'm fond of him, but
what's to sure? I am fucking guessing.
This weird Matthew fight.
Wait! It gets better, guys.
No.
Versus Rakic.
Who?
Rakic, that light heavyweight prospect who's an actual prospect.
Oh, versus whom?
Manuwa, Jimmy Manuwa.
Ooh. Three weird fights in a row.
Yes.
I want Rakic to win, but like Manuwa should be respected at light heavyweight.
He should be respected, but I don't think he's a left hook.
Yeah, I know. But I'm talking about like light heavyweight standards. It's like
Rakic is
you can throw a power shot with your left hand.
He's 11.
Top 10 material.
Wait, how old is Rakic?
27.
Okay, he's gonna lose because he's younger.
No. He's 11.
Those are the rules.
11-1. His first fight was his only loss.
Yes.
Steady climb.
Yes.
5 with a 78-inch reach.
Okay, yes. All of that.
And trains at ATT.
Well, yes, all of that makes sense. That said, MMA does not make sense, and old people beat young people in this weight class.
I'm gonna believe in Rakic.
Let's see logic fail again.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to believe.
Okay, so we're gonna end it there. Thank you all so much for joining us once again. We really appreciate it. Please follow us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter.
Give Sage your best wishes, please. Poor guy. And Kevin Lee too. He's a decent dude.
Thank you all so much for joining us.
Yeah, I want to say again, I really like Kevin Lee, but like, please bring in a new coach or change camps or like,
something.
I'd like to see it as
well. Yeah.
All right. That's it.
It's done.
We're done.
Bye. Adios.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.